a new platform right now. So hopefully everything goes smooth. And if not, I'm going to ditch it and move on to another one as well. Okay. So, let me know in the chat down below if you can hear me, if you can see me. Let me know. Okay. I'll do my best. I can help everybody out there. So that's where I want people to be able to go smooth with everything else. Okay. So hopefully everything is going smooth. And I appreciate everybody joining in, and welcome to the Art of Relationship show. Today, we are going to be talking about intimacy, right? And what is taboo for you out there when it comes to intimacy, right? Or sex. And I know TikTok might block those situations, but hopefully they understand I'm a licensed professional. That's what I'm able to do with this, and to be able to have that comfort level, to have everybody be able to understand what is going on, and hopefully everybody understands the reality of it. Okay. So going to be talking about what is taboo for you. And I talked about episodes long time ago what it even looks like to be able to have this conversation. And your partner wants to center on one situation, one not. They have a hard time talking about that and being able to understand, what is happening in the bedroom, countertops, that type of situation. So I want to have a little fun today. And as always, letting everybody know, I'm Greg Dudzinski, fully licensed professional counselor. As I check all the settings, relationship and sex specialist, and have been doing this for over 2 decades now, and specialize in relationships, sex, couples, marriage, and also I have a lot of grief and a lot of trauma, severe trauma experience as well. Okay, so as always, you can throw in your live comments down below, and I'd love to see what your take is on relationships. What is taboo for you? Maybe your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend wants to try something, and you're like, oh, that is taboo, right? I don't bend that way. I'm not flexible, that type of situation. Maybe when you talk about, people talk about BDSM, that's not for everybody. And there's different levels to that. What about kink? Those situations as well. Aben, I appreciate you tuning in. Stacy, thank you so much for joining in. And it seems like there are connection issues with certain formats and with certain platforms going on. So I'm just checking Tat. Sorry about that, everybody. And I'm hoping everything joins in. But again, make sure the tech issues are going on okay. So that's what I'm looking at. What is, taboo for you when it comes into sex, when it comes into intimacy? And some people, you get into, threesomes is taboo. Some people are looking at, maybe, the woman wants to peg the guy, and the guy's like, oh, hell no, nothing's going back there, right? That type of situation. I tell people all the time, a little fun, a little, anal play, whatever, finger, rim, whatever, those situations where a lot of people will look at, oh, if I like it, that means I'm gay. No, it doesn't, gentlemen. It just brings a lot more pleasure to certain men, and it's who's doing it. That doesn't make you gay at all, right? And if you are, no disrespect, right? I'm in, I support the LGBTQ plus community out there. So it's looking at, what works for you. And a lot of people have biases. They will look at what is, how they view things is how things should be when it comes into the bedroom or when it comes into intimacy, that type of situation, right? No, it's nobody decides but you out there and your partner. Okay. And this goes for any type of relationship, relationship, marriage, couplehood, that type of situation. Okay. There's a lot of people out there that will deem one thing is not right. You shouldn't be able to do that. And there's some things that are able to look at that are taboo. Okay. And the only thing that decides it's consent. That's huge, right? It's got to be consensual. And, that's the only thing that I promote. It has to be consensual between consenting adults, right? And that doesn't matter if it's a group sex, orgy, that type of situation. Everybody's got to consent. And it can't be manipulated, coercive, forced, that type of situation, right? Even if there are, I never joke about rape, but when it comes into rape play, BDSM, that type of situation, again, it's consensual, right? And you look at that situation, are you able to even talk about, enticing, exciting your sex life, your intimacy level in those situations? And that's where I want people to be able to look at, to be able to have that comfort level, to even talk about it, to learn from one another. So again, throw your questions down below, people, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. So when even if you have a list, right? And there's some situations I give out a list, right? I call it the sexual exploration sheet or exercise, what you like, what you don't like. And it could be, biting, nibbling, chewing, licking, whatever, kissing, that type of situation. What you like, what you don't like. So you can even, maybe it helps you bring up stuff, makes you think outside of your normal aspect. If you're bored in the bedroom, if you're bored intimately, that type of situation. And that's where I want people to look at, are you bored because you're doing the same thing all the time, right? Or are you bored because you're not connected to your partner? So part of what is taboo also to some people is, I'm not going to be intimate with my partner if I'm not emotionally, mentally connected. Or what happens if part of taboo aspect is, people change. We get older, bodies change, right? And all of a sudden they're not turned on by you anymore, or you're not turned on by your partner. And is that part of the intimacy taboo? And a lot of people look at, well, it's shallow, it's all this aspect. We know realistically bodies change. I wish I had my 8-pack abs that I did in my early 20s, late teens, like all of us, right? Well, maybe even up until 40. Maybe it was 6-packs. Maybe it was an 8-pack back then, right? Maybe 6, maybe 4-pack. But now you're looking at, what is taboo for you? And please share the episode on your page, on your timeline, anything I can do to help. I'm all about trying to help as many people out there become more confident within themselves, and also create, of course, a stronger, more committed, more fun, connected relationship or marriage going through that. And a lot of people look at, even with those situations, what can you tell me I'm not a first-time voter, I'm old, okay? So, no, and I am going to vote. I'm all for, it's American right. It's American privilege, right? So when you look at, more fun, it could be, sexually, right? It could be a situation to where, you have to deem what is more fun. What is more exciting for you? And sometimes it's, maybe starting out a pillow fight. Maybe some people play naked twister, as a part of foreplay, and you could laugh, joke around, be fun, that type of stuff. So what deems more fun sexually is you. Maybe a couple or a one person, everything is all fun, but they want more depth. They want more emotional, mental intimacy, that situation, okay? So that's where you look at those situations. You deem what is fun, but talk about it. Talk about it with your partner. And that's where I want people to understand, even having these conversations and being able to look at these situations, what works for you. When it comes into taboo, we all have taboos, right? And it could be Some people might not be into certain kinks. Some people might not be into, and they don't have to be, right? Some people are into those situations to be able to look at, what is happening in the situation in your relationship, but also, it's not according to everybody else, right? So that's where people be able to look at, it's not according to everybody else, but you can learn from it. You can be able to understand and learn from maybe what you see. Maybe some people, they want to try certain things in porn and adult movies. And some people maybe heard, people talking about it at work or a friend talking about it, and they want to be able to talk about those situations. Okay. And I know, as TikTok mentioned, some comments to this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. So it's probably the language aspect, whatever. And I still need to maybe write them and tell them, I'm actually a professional mental health worker, and this is what we talk about, okay? And it's not degrading, it's not belittling. We want to have fun with it too, right? So when you look at what are taboo situations, right? A lot of men will look at, man, I'd love to have a threesome, whatever. And I'm in my office right back here, and I said, oh, you mean you and another guy and your wife, your girlfriend? Oh, no, that's not what I mean. And I joke, I'm like, why not? Why is it a devil's threesome, right? And you look at, I'm not into that, I'm not promoting whatever, okay? It's whatever your thing is. So, everybody looks at, the world, I'm not even into religious aspects, not at all. But everybody tries to deem what should be taboo in the bedroom, right? And you and your partner are the ones that deem what is taboo. It's when you have issues that you don't jive. You're not compatible when it comes into intimacy in those situations, okay? And that's where the difficulties come in. And I talked about this on numerous episodes before, where one might love oral, giving, receiving, woohoo, right? And your partner hates it, never will enjoy it. And you're wondering, is that something you can live without? And you even have people in this profession, and I'll bash, they'll tell, oh, you need to be okay not having that because nothing's perfect. They're right. Nothing is perfect. But you have to determine what your deal breakers are. Not me, not any other professional in this field that's biased, that's judgmental. You get to deem what is that. So when you look at, what is taboo? Maybe, someone, I want to bite that ass, right? Maybe just gentle bite, maybe a nibble. And your partner, ew, that's gross, that's whatever, right? And, so you have to be able to talk about it and understand, open, hey, what do you like to try? What do you don't? And some people are shy. And that has nothing to do with age. It could, right? Everybody assumes it correlates or, it's a causation, age equals this. Not necessarily, right? There's some people 40s, 50s, 60s that will never, ever talk about what they want to try, what they like, because they're embarrassed, they're ashamed, they're shy. And that's where I want people to be able to evolve and grow and to be okay and give themselves permission to talk about what they enjoy sexually, what they don't, and what is taboo to them, okay? Remember, throw your questions down below in the chat, people, and I'll do my best I can to answer them the best of my ability, okay? So, excuse me. And, when you also look at, the taboos or the kink, you can even do a search, right? Kink, a BDSM, and there's different levels of kink, BDSM, that type of situation. There's mild, more moderate, severe, whatever, and whatever works for you, okay? So that's where I look at those situations, and at least get people, hey, I never thought of this, to try. And that could be fun. It could be, entertaining. Plus, it also can be bonding emotionally, mentally, and let's face it, sexually, intimacy, right? And that's where a lot of people will look at, you know, they don't look at that. They just look at, oh, that makes me a bad person. It makes me, evil. It makes me, just rude. And I'm not into people still get into shaming, slut shaming, sex shaming. That should never happen, right? It shouldn't happen for women, men, that type of situation. If it's consensual, it's your life. You get to deem what is right for you and what is taboo when it comes to the situation, okay? Now, if we transfer over to, I did a quick little video yesterday on how many people want a divorce, how many people are looking to break up with their partner, right? And I did a little video, it's on social media all over the place, a quick little video on things to do to promote wanting a divorce, getting a divorce, or breaking up. Sort of a smart ass take of it, right? And I tell people, you disrespect your partner. You stop showing them you love them. You stop showing him or her you respect them. You stop showing desire for them, affection, compliments, affirmations. You stop showing your partner that they're not important to you anymore, right? And it could be, I'm going out, not even saying anything, come down 3 a.m, whatever. I don't have to tell you anything, right? And this will definitely get you broken up, get you divorced. So if you don't want those things, right? And I don't promote either or, right? I want people to be happy. I'm telling you, if you do those things, it will lead to a divorce. It will lead to a breakup, those situations. And that's not what I want for people. I want people to understand, to put things in place that work for you. So if you don't want to break up, you don't want a divorce, are you looking at situations to where you're showing your partner they are a priority? You're showing them that they matter to you. They're crucial to you, right? That you love them. You still desire them. That they're taken into consideration. That they're felt to be made appreciated, right? And a lot of people look at, well, that's what she's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do. And I'm like, we start taking our partner for granted, right? I don't want that, right? You can do that, like I said, if you do want to break up, if you do want a divorce, right? And I don't want game playing. I don't want situations. I'm all about trying to help people have the relationship that they've dreamt of course, realistically, right? It's not a fairy tale, not a Cinderella story, but it's, a realistic aspect that, hey, do you even ask your partner, hey, do you feel loved by me? Do you feel appreciated? What can I do to be a better partner? Those situations, okay? So when you stop doing those, or let's face it, when we have young kids, and I did a thing, a short little thing maybe a couple of weeks ago on this. If you always make your kids the number one priority and not the relationship or marriage, that marriage or relationship, chances are it will end. And if you still stay together, that doesn't mean it didn't end emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and let's face it, sexually, right? Like we talked about earlier in the episode. So when those things end and the other person, well, you need to be okay not feeling loved, not feeling appreciated. It's going to be difficult, right? Those situations. And again, it's not a right or wrong. It's to be able to look at what is happening and do you want those things? And part of it is communication, right? Just like I mentioned about what is taboo sexually, it's talking, it's communicating. And what do you do to make it safe for your partner talking about this situation? when a lot of people bring up, hey, I want to break up, I want a divorce. And then it hurts, it rips, and then the yelling and screaming, whatever. But do you ever ask your person, your partner, hey, you know what? Why do you want to break up? Why do you want a divorce? Those situations, right? And we all know we could carry this on too about what do you feel are the dumbest ideas, the petty things that you have broken up for, gotten a divorce over, or maybe you broke up with something, right? Somebody else, the way they chew their food, that type of situation. And they never stopped, oh my God, it's annoying, that type of situation, okay? So that's where I want people to be able to communicate and ask each other so you don't get divorced, so you don't break up, right? Yes, we evolve, we grow, absolutely. But I want people to be able to understand, you know what? Hey, I don't want that. I want to make you feel cherished. I want to make you feel important. And what can I do to keep that going, right? And this is realistically, right? People get together, maybe have kids, get together, and it's very difficult. And you mentioned about, I think I mentioned this last week, that, there's people out there, oh, the kid comes first, forget about my husband. And then you're wondering why your husband cheated on you or your boyfriend cheated on you and wants somebody else because you didn't make him or her, can go for either gender, right? Make them feel loved, important, whatever, that they should just tolerate that situation. Not only that, but then when you don't make them feel important and they leave you and you still want spousal support, child support, which we need to take care of kids, both men and women, right? Absolutely. And then you're wondering why, where you didn't make them feel loved, whatever, and you still deserve this? Why? So I'm different. I piss a lot of people off. And yes, I am fully licensed in the state of Michigan as a licensed professional counselor, like I've said, relationship and sex specialist for over 2 decades now. So I'd love to hear what your questions are, what your comments are, and to be able to do the best I can to be able to answer those specifically to help people out, okay? So if you want to break up, you want a divorce, like I said, I don't promote those things unless you are being miserable and you're unhappy. Now, remember we talked about, or I talked about at the beginning about sexual taboos, right? In the beginning, it's looking at those situations to where now are you able to understand and look at would sex break up a relationship or marriage? My answer is yes, it could. And a lot of people, even other professionals, they will blow smoke up people's butts. I'm going to be honest with you. They're going to tell people what you want to hear, and that's not healthy. But yes, sexual differences, sexual incompatibilities can cause a relationship to end, can cause a divorce to happen. I'm a realist, okay? I'm not going to lie to you like a lot of other people out there, right? And a lot of people, they sidestep, they, water down situations, and they'll say, oh, it never should cause a relationship, or intimacy is not everything a relationship's about. I agree. It isn't. But who determines if it's important or not, right? So when you stop being intimate with your partner, we need to look at why, right? Not a right or wrong. What caused it? Emotional disconnect, lack of communication, not making each other feel valued, important, right? Or like, at the beginning, what happens if somebody is bored and they like certain things intimately and the other person doesn't? And it's one of those things, like I mentioned about oral sex, one loves it, the other one hates it. And you got some idiot saying, oh, you need to compromise, you need to be okay with that. And I'm going to tell you, no, you don't. Nothing is perfect, right? If someone, oh, I demand, for me to be happy, I need to have sex 5 times a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to tell you, well, that's unrealistic. Okay. I'm a realist. So, we're talking, extremes, realistically, other than that, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And these things definitely can cause a breakup or a marriage to end when it comes into sexual taboo. And other people, like I said, in this field that are professionals too, and yes, I'm going to call them out, they will tell you you need to be okay if sexual fulfillment, it doesn't occur. It's not even thought about, not even talked about, doesn't even exist in your marriage or relationship because you took a vow. You did not take a vow to be miserable. You did not take a vow to be not feeling love, not feeling desire, right? Now you look at, and even, in the field for professionals, desire discrepancies are very, very difficult to work with, and they exist. They're very common. And you look at, what is going on, biological aspects, hormone aspects for men, for women. Everybody assumes, it's men complaining that they're not having enough intimacy or sex. Not at all. It's, in my experience, it's mostly women. And I can't speak for anybody else. Now we look at why and what's going on now, or are you looking at it that, is that going to be the reason the relationship or marriage ends? And it could be, right? No one decides this, but you're going to have friends, society, culture, religion, and I'm not religious at all. So, but I respect people's beliefs. They are telling you, or more or less dictating how you live your life. That's disrespectful. That's bias. As long as, of course, right, it's consensual. And you know what? You're not hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. That is crucial. But too many people out there will dictate your life for you. And I talk about this on probably every episode. Excuse me, of the Art of Relationship show. But that's where I want people to understand it's your life, that situation, okay? And I'd love to know, where the heck are all the questions, people? I'd love to know where all the questions are at. And hopefully, like I said, the recording, or it's not recorded, it's live. I'm hoping the broadcast goes through. I am trying a different platform, and I'm hoping, like I said, I hope it works. So now, think about this stuff. When you look at your relationship, look at your marriage, the challenges on there, say everything's great, but the intimacy is not, okay? It's not where you would like it to be. Number one, talk about it, please, okay? Be able to talk about it. Number two, express not only, the physical pleasures of it, right? But also what sex is, what does it mean to you? What does it value? Is it just physical pleasure? Or what about the emotional, mental pleasures, fulfillment out of it, staying connected, heart and soul? Is that for you? So when you talk about, a combination of, wanting to end a relationship, a divorce, like I mentioned earlier, when you don't feel loved, appreciated, desired, important, all these elements, right? And that doesn't mean that you get an argument and it ends, it's done. No, you want to try. That's normal. It's going to happen. But you will work together through those challenges. It's when you feel like you are working against each other that creates a lot of problems in a relationship. And this comes to, if you have different values or they've changed over time, now what do? Do you stay in a situation that you're unhappy, that you're miserable? Not at all, okay? So, gives you something to think about. Check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. I have Stop Hate, Love Intentionally gear available. Check that out. And I do have self-help self-help courses situations. Sorry about it. Self-help courses out there as well. Healing after an affair, which mostly what I work with, reigniting your relationship, and a premarital early relationship course too, and they're cheap, they're reasonable. So check them out, theartofrelationships.org, and follow me. I appreciate it all over the place. Follow, like, whatever, at LoveGuruGreg. I appreciate everybody. Peace and love.